Welcome back from a little
Welcome back.
break of pee.
What?
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 What do you say?
You say something?
No.
What about the Foo Fighters?
I got to tell you, I was watching the stupid Instagram, which is nothing but a time sucker. And I was watching it, and the main guy, and I don't know his name, but he's from the Foo Fighters. And he was on there talking
Probably
about
get his name and add it here. Okay.
Yeah.
Post edit, please.
And anyways, it was he was talking about when he was the musical guest on SNL or Saturday Night Live, and Christopher Walken was the guest host, right?
Yes.
So he's talking about it, and of course he's just kind of giggling as he's telling the quick story that I'll share with you, and he's just saying that he says, only if you know Christopher Walken and his voice, he's the only guy that would ever walk up and say, okay, where's the emphasis on your name? Is it Foo or the Fighters? And so the guy looked at him very calmly and said, oh, it's on Fighters. He goes, and I knew exactly what he was going to do. So when it came down and they were going to introduce him, Christopher Walken just looked out the crowd and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, the Foo Fighters.
Oh, that's great.
So I might have to record that and make that a soundbite all the time. Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters. Okay,
So
I love it.
there was that. So, oh man, great to hear from Larry. Always great to have him there. I'm actually pretty geeked up and excited about having him on.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that would be a good time, and I think we're just going to have to be careful what we say because there's a lot of information there.
Okay.
So let's go back to the cars, man.
Yes.
And let's see, you did your stuff there. So
My S10, your S10.
so pick my next one. What should I talk about? What's the next one?
I think after your S10, you bought a Wrangler.
You just let the cat out of the bag. Yes, it was a Jeep I want to say it was a 1990 or maybe a 91, but I think it's a 90. I think it was a 1990 Jeep Wrangler. Bought it at Yark, of all places.
Before you ever worked there.
Before I ever worked there for almost 30 years combined.
Plug for Yark.
Yeah, no kidding. Just what you're looking for. Anyways, yeah, so it was a two-door soft top. They didn't have four doors back then like they do now with the Unlimited Wranglers.
Yes.
So it was a two-door. It was a Sahara package because the front fender flares and the rear ones were painted the same color as the car. It was white. It had a gray top. The doors were pretty unique because they were like a half door. So you had your window here, right? And then the door was metal and it would go down and then over.
Right.
So in those, it folded down like an umbrella, the top did and all that. So we used to take the doors off. And that's when I was actually dating Sherry. I started dating Sherry at the end of the life of that car.
Okay.
And I remember that we decided that, hey, you know what? Let's do some stuff that we used to do years ago, which is let's go to the drive-in, right?
Okay.
When's the last time you've been to a drive-in, right? Long time. And so we went out to the drive-in. I think it's
Sundance?
it is Sundance.
Which I don't think it is anymore.
Really?
I think it changed or it's
Oh, my
gone.
God. Well, Sherry and I went out there and to watch a movie. And I remember we pulled in, and I had an idea, so I backed into the spot. And she's like, what are you doing? The screen's behind us,
Right.
dummy. So anyways, I backed in. The top was off. So I took the rear seat out, because you could just unhook it and just pop right out. So I took the seat out, flipped it around, and put it back in. So when you got in the car, you're facing the back, right? And there was literally nothing but open air there.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was really cool to be able to see the screen like that, but that Jeep was a lot of fun.
Kind of like using the back of a pickup, only you don't need any chair. I mean, you had a chair.
Yeah,
You had a seat.
So it just flipped around, and we had a great time.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was really kind of cool to do that. But
And
the
you
Wrangler
can sit together as
Yeah.
opposed to bucket
Yeah.
seats. That's kind of nice.
and we were both a lot thinner and younger, so we actually fit in the chair together.
You might have to explain, for future years of this podcast being listened to, what a drive-in theater is.
Oh, for God's sakes. Jackson, just look it up.
Well, that's rude.
I love you, buddy. Love you. The drive-ins were a big deal, and we had that one drive-in, Jesse James on Reynolds Road that Mom and Dad used to take us to all the time.
Yes, the
And-
XXX.
And then they had come on.
only on the weekends.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I had to bring Hulk back. But that was late at night. How many times did we drive by there and Dad's going, uh-oh. And we knew what that meant. That was like, boys, look out the window. I can't say nothing with your mom.
I cannot believe that back in the day they just had these big ass screens, and they
Oh, man.
they'd put anything on the whatever movie. It didn't have to be. It could be an rated R movie.
Yeah.
But
Just
there's a
going.
woman up there with big breasts and no shirt on.
The
and
boobs were
everybody
flying.
driving down the street
It
can
was-
just see it. It's
Yeah, the boobs were flying,
just
dude.
the funniest thing
It
in the
was
world. How many accidents do
crazy.
you think were caused by drive-in movies?
I think the apartments across the street had no problems filling those apartments up.
So can you, just a bit of reference here, can you name the movie we probably saw the most times at Jesse James Drive-In? I bet I can.
Ooh, Jesse James, the movie we saw the most there?
Yeah, what movie do you think we saw the most there?
Oh, well, of course, I always flash right to Smokey and the Bandit, but I don't
No.
think it was that.
No, too early. We watched Smoking the Bandit on our VHS
That's right.
that Dad had.
And that movie was done in, what, 79?
Yeah, you got to think way back.
So, the one
Something
saw
that
the
we were
most.
kids.
Okay.
That Mom and Dad took us to see, it seemed like every weekend. Oh, Grant. You're talking about cars, and we got to discuss this movie, even though you probably don't
Used
even
cars?
remember it. No.
Yeah,
Well, the
those
used cars
cars.
would have had the naked ladies, but no.
Yeah, that was Kurt
No.
Russell, too.
Yes, that's not what we're talking about.
Was it a car movie?
Yes.
Convoy.
It wasn't, per se, a car movie, but it did have a cop chasing people in cars, so yeah.
Was it? It wasn't
Oh,
Convoy,
my
right?
God.
Why am I not remembering
Do
this?
I dare say Opie?
Opie.
Oh my gosh. Richie Cunningham? Ringing any bells yet?
American Graffiti?
Oh my God, Grant.
I don't ever remember
You're
going to
letting
see
me
that.
down here. Let me just say 3 words to you.
Okay.
Eat my dust. Don't tell
Did
me
we?
you don't remember that movie.
We went to the movie theaters?
Oh my God, Grant. Every frickin' weekend. I don't know how we don't know that movie by heart.
I don't remember going to the movie theater to see it. I probably blocked it out. It probably became such a painful experience.
It wasn't painful. It was fun. We loved it. That was our favorite movie before we were ever introduced to
Eat
Smokey
my
the Bandit.
dust. Oh my God.
And for anybody who's listening who hasn't seen that movie, if you get a chance, please watch that movie.
Is that even
It's
streaming?
Classic. I don't know that it's streaming.
Oh my God.
I have it on VHS. I do know that. I might even have a digital copy somewhere.
Doc,
I'm
Doc,
So
Doc.
sorry. Doc. So sorry.
Oh my God.
Let me turn that off right now.
right.
I'm going to look it up real quick while you're talking. Go ahead and talk.
Okay.
I'm just going to look it up.
Well, that was the story about the Wrangler. So that was really it. That's
While I do this, can you think of another story involving the Wrangler that I was involved in? Oh, you already know what I'm thinking.
Remember when I said that when Larry's on, we got to be careful we talk about? So I was just trying to avoid. So, okay, you want me to tell that story?
Larry?
No, Larry, well, he wasn't there for that.
No, he wasn't there for this story.
Are you talking about the club that night?
Oh
With the
my God,
Wrangler?
no, I don't want to talk about that. Is that what you're thinking with Larry? No, I don't want to talk about that.
Wow, man, freaked out.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Eat My Dust is on Crackle, Freevee, Plex, Pluto, Roku channel,
Oh my God.
Tubi TV. I don't know if anybody's seen that. That's a very good
I'm
channel.
asking Dad about that.
Tubi, free
I don't
movies
think
and
we
TV.
want
Prime Video.
that. Oh, it's on
which-
Prime?
But you might have to rent it.
Okay.
It says from $2.99
Wow.
or search Amazon. Tubi
Wow.
is it's a free site. Limited commercials.
Okay.
Tubi's a good place to watch it.
Wow. I don't remember seeing that there. I bet you if I'll bring it up and I'll watch part of it again. I haven't seen it for so long.
Yeah, I watched it
I bet you I'll go, oh yeah.
years ago and thinking, wow, this really isn't that good. But no, it's a classic movie. It's classic. Classic car chase. If you're into those 70 car chase, Smoking the Bandit type movies, it's a good one. It's one of the good ones. It's up there with was it Crazy Larry? What is that? What is it? Crazy Mary. Oh God, I gotta look it up now.
I do have a quick story though about the Wrangler. That's kind
Yeah.
of funny. I was dating Christy, and she had some friends that had a cabin, right? So we would drive up to her cabin, and we would stay there. And, they had boats and stuff, and Christy's parents were always there, too. So, I mean, it was not crazy or nothing. But we would go there, and we would, have the big bonfires and, do the jet skis and the boats, right? So we do all that kind of stuff. So I remember one time I had to work on a Saturday, right? So they're already up there. And they're like, well, come on, drive on up after work. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm a young guy. I'm in decent shape, right? So I go take the top down, sun's out, top down, take the doors off, throw them in the back, take my shirt off, get in the car, put on my seatbelt, and let's go, right?
Okay.
So I drive. It's like an hour and 10 minutes or whatever it was to get there, right? Sun's coming down. I got this tunes blazing. I got my shades on, right? We get all the way up there, and I get out of the car, and I go walking up, and Rick, Christy's dad, just starts cracking up and goes, "Are you okay?" And he's just laughing. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, "Are you okay?" Right?
Yeah.
So as it ends up, the sun was blaring. I had a white line where the seatbelt was going across my entire chest. It looked like I was a street crossing guard or something, right? So yeah, my face was all red. I took my sunglasses
You're
off.
not supposed to wear a seatbelt when you're tanning in the car.
I didn't know the sun was going to be that good. You know what I mean? I just didn't know the sun was going to. Well, I'm Irish, so I'm like translucent as it is. So it's like big shocker there. So
That's funny.
I should have known better, but I just
Absolutely.
I got
You should have known
fried.
better.
I got fried.
So
Yeah,
real
it's
quick,
funny.
the name of the movie is Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry.
Oh my God, I would have never guessed that.
Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. That's a
My
car
next guess-
movie.
my next
You know
guess
who's in that
was-
one, right? It's Peter Fonda's in that one.
Oh my God, dude, I was probably sleeping through all those. I was a little kid. I was going to suggest Star Wars. That was my next guess.
You know
was
the
Star
car
Wars.
they steal in that movie, right?
No, what is it? I don't remember.
Well, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Because we will talk about it later. Anyhow, you're still skipping over a story about the Jeep. But since you can't remember the story about the Wrangler that I'm thinking of, and even though you just mentioned, your old girlfriend Christy,
Right.
and you don't want to mention the story, that's fine. We'll ask our parents, okay? And in a future episode, they'll tell us the story because I'm sure they remember because it was funny to them, but probably not funny to you.
I'm going to remember to edit this out, just so we all are clear.
No,
on that.
you're not editing this
Gonna
out.
edit-
I'll have them
it will
call
be
in
gone.
and make sure every week until you. I can't believe you don't remember. You remember now, you just don't want to say it.
I don't recall.
You liar. But moving on, what other cars? So you had the Jeep Wrangler. What was
Yeah.
I driving when you had the Jeep Wrangler, or before?
I think right before that, was that your Cavalier? Was that your Z?
My Cavalier Z24. I love that car.
Yeah. I got a
Love
picture of
that
it, so tell me about that one. I'll bring a
It's
picture of
actually not my car, but it's exactly what it looked like.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Yeah, it was the blue. And I had the loaded model, power windows, power seats, T-tops, which didn't leak, by the way. It was awesome. That car, I don't know, when I was finally getting ready to sell the S10, I had looked at a few.
Is this the actual car?
That is the Z20. That's not mine. It looks exactly like mine, though.
Okay.
That's the blue.
I thought it was two-tone with the silver down below, is what I thought it was for some reason.
No, you know what? Now that you say that, mine had stripes on it,
Okay.
but they were blue. They were like silver blue, light blue. They faded into the color of the car. You're right. Now that you say that.
Like that one I
that's
sent you?
Pretty close.
I sent you that one text message with a picture of one, I think.
Did you?
I thought I did. Well, I'll keep talking here.
So anyhow,
I'll see if I can find it.
I was looking at Z24s, and they're little V6, but man, they had some pep in them.
Yeah, they were remarkably interesting.
They only had 130 horse. I don't know if it's how small they were, the small wheelbase. I don't know what it was, but those cars, man, they had giddy up. And I found a 5-speed
Right.
Z24, and I love that car. I mean, it was just a lot of fun to drive. That is not me. That is not mine, if that's what you're talking about. But
Well, take a look at this one here. This is what I remembered. I thought it was like that.
no, I didn't have the two-tone.
Okay.
It was stripes along the bottom. They had stripes that kind of started in like a silver, and then they faded into your color of the car. So like a red or like a blue, then a different blue, then a dark blue, and a dark blue to match your color.
For some reason, that's what I think of right there.
Yeah, that's the wrong year too. That's definitely
No.
the wrong year. But yeah, the one you showed
I'm
was
just
the
not doing very
87.
good remembering much of anything correctly in this podcast.
But that car had a lot of giddy up. And I drove that car till I got married.
Oh, wow.
Deb drove it. Then,
Wow.
of course,
Okay.
she started driving it, and then somebody hit her one day and totaled it. So
I do remember that a little bit.
I still think I have the back window out of it. The one of the back side windows.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
In the
it was
garage somewhere?
laying in the street, and I picked it up and took it home, and that was the only thing I had left. Of that car.
Yikes.
But it was a fun little car.
Yikes.
Fun little car. Just a lot of fun driving that car. I bought that from York too.
That's interesting, too, that you got it at Yark.
Yeah, the guy tried to scam me for it though.
Well, it's shocking.
But it's nobody you work with, trust me.
Okay.
Long before anybody that you work with is there, I think.
Got it. What's another car? that
Of
we
me,
own?
of mine?
Either one. Yours or mine.
Oh man, see now you're starting to get into not remembrance. So
But we covered a
you
lot of
said
your
you
stuff.
had
We did your truck. We did your
I
Cutlass.
covered everything.
Your Z24 Cavalier.
Yeah,
We did your Camaro.
yeah,
I liked that Camaro. That Camaro we had a lot of fun in that Camaro.
yeah.
What about, is
I'd
there anything
say-
else other than that? Maybe you got all these Ram trucks you've had, I guess, but
That's recent. Yeah,
that's more recent, though. That's not really what we
Yeah.
grew up with, you know?
yeah.
So,
A couple of Ram trucks. I had 17, 19, and this 22.
22, I think, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's 3 Ram trucks I've had. I've always wanted a Ram truck, so I was really happy to get one of those. Finally came into, a situation where Deb and I could afford to get one, and
Right.
got one. A couple other cars in between, nothing really much to talk about, but you had something when you were with Sherry, I think, that wasn't exactly on 4 wheels, was it?
Talking about the bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you have that? Then you had it when you moved here.
No,
Still.
no. The Kawasaki I bought right after the divorce.
The Kawasaki.
Yeah, the red Kawasaki Vulcan.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
You bought
after the
that
divorce.
after the divorce.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
did
you-
have that Honda Shadow that I bought.
Okay.
That I had when I had the S10.
Okay.
Because there's a picture floating around there somewhere where it's got me sitting on the bike and then the Chevelle over one shoulder and the truck over another shoulder.
Yes.
But that was back when I was 21, 22.
Uh-huh.
And Mom didn't like that.
Oh, no.
She
No,
didn't like that
absolutely
very
not.
much at all. So that was that.
Absolutely not. But then you got some other cars.
Well, then the next one was probably one of the nicest cars and also the
Oh.
oldest cars
I'd say the nicest car, probably.
that I've ever purchased like that.
I mean, the ones you have now are really nice, and one of them's super fast.
Yeah.
But as far as Trailer Queen, this is the one you're getting ready to talk about right now.
Yeah.
The car you probably shouldn't have drove.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stories with it, and I won't bore everybody with all of it, but I will tell you that it was a tuxedo silver with a black stripe. It was a 1969 Dodge Charger. It was a 383 car, 4-speed on the floor, and it was
Yeah.
about as close to mint as you could get. There was a couple of things like, the fog light lenses were rotted and cracked, right?
Correct.
So I replaced those with stock ones. Other than that, you're splitting hairs to find something wrong with that car. you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So it was really nice. It wasn't an RT. It was not an RT car because it was a stock 383. So RT cars had to be a 440 or 426 Hemi.
Yeah.
So this was a 383. So it was the largest V8 motor in that car without being an RT. So, but I had that car, shipped it out from California, did it in a closed carrier. It arrived in, I want to say February because there was snow on the ground. Truck pulls up, opens up the big back tailgate, and somewhere in the line I had a bunch of photos of it,
Yeah.
of course. So they backed
I
off
have
that
one.
trailer. And did you?
I have one right now. It's on here.
Oh, okay. Well,
forgot.
We're gonna have to throw that guy on the screen at some point.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that was the deal with that car. Beautiful car. Was really fun to drive. Very quick, but it was just it's my dream car,
Right.
right? And it was about as close to my dream car, minus being that
Right,
guy.
right.
You know what I mean? It was the closest thing to a General Lee that I've ever owned.
Okay.
It was pretty close. So, but yeah, the only story with that thing though was that it was a paranoia sometimes with that car, because people would follow me around to see where I lived.
Right.
And I think they were just curious. I don't think they were like going to steal something or try,
Right.
but you didn't know.
No, you don't know.
I had people walk up to me at a gas station and ask me if I wanted to buy it, and just give you this weird look, just act this weird.
Sell it. Ask you if you wanted to sell it.
Sell it, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, gotcha.
And they would it was just very odd.
Absolutely.
I would go to the grocery store and come out and the hood's up. People are looking inside the car. They didn't have locking hoods like from the inside like they did later.
Right.
So you could just pop the hood from the grill.
Yeah,
You just reach
you
in.
don't want that.
So people would do that. You go to the car show and people would try to steal stuff off the car. It's just, it was crazy. So we ended up selling that guy, right? Because I went through the divorce with Sherry, so I sold the car. Took care of that, didn't have it. And the guy that bought it, the agreement was, if you remember this, the agreement was when he bought it, he says, okay, before I sell this car, he goes, I'll get with you before I sell it, if you want to buy it back. So then a couple years later, I run into the guy at a GM powertrain show, right? And this is when Dad had that silver Corvette.
Okay.
So we go to the car show with Dad's car. And I go there and I run into this guy.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, how's the Charger? What's going on? I still wasn't in a financial place yet to do
right.
anything. Right, okay. But anyways, he goes, yeah, I sold it to a guy in California. The car went home. And I went,
What?
why? He goes, Grant, I made over 10 grand on the sale. I had to do it.
Wow.
I just had to do it. And I was like, well, thank you for living
Somebody
up to your
offered
word.
him money. He couldn't
Yeah.
refuse.
Yeah. And I get it, but he could have called me and told me. You know what I mean? That would have been the right thing to do.
Sure.
He could just call and say, hey,
Grant,
man,
I
gotta
have an
sell it.
offer.
I
Can
got an
you
offer.
match it?
Yeah, if you want to match it or talk to me about
Absolutely not.
it. But
But thank
anyways.
you for offering.
Yeah, he ended up
No,
buying
yeah,
it. He took
absolutely.
that extra money, bought a Roadrunner, real nice Roadrunner.
I'll bet.
So, but anyways, that was the story on that one. And then I sold that guy.
Can you give me a ballpark number? What do you think that car would be worth today?
Well, let's see. I bought it for 17 or 17.5.
Oh, no, I don't even want to hear it.
Right.
I don't want to hear the rest.
Sold it for 24.
Uh-huh.
When I sold it for 24. He sold it for about close to 40.
Uh-huh.
And then later on in life, again, I saw it online.
Okay.
And I checked the pictures out, matched the VIN, my old car, right? And it was, last time I saw it was trying to be sold for $86,000.
Nice.
So now today, I bet you that's a six-figure car.
Oh, probably. Probably.
I think that's a $100,000 car. Just because of, even though it's not an RT, just because of the condition that car was so
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's
ungodly
69
gorgeous. Yeah,
on-
and it's the
it's the one everybody's looking for, and they can't find them, so.
yeah. Well, it's the most valued,
It's the most
hottest
valued.
car that when it comes to the Charger, they went to
Chargers,
68,
yes.
69, and 70.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, when I was married to Deb, I was working at Ed Schmidt's, and we had a buddy there that I worked with, and his name was Larry, not the Larry we just talked to, different
Right,
Larry,
different Larry.
and he told me, he says, hey, I got a buddy of mine that wants to sell his car, and it's an old muscle car. You interested in a muscle car? I said, sure. What do you got? He says, well, I've got this guy. He says he bought it off of it's a 1970 Chevelle Malibu. Blue.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. And he says, and I know that he wants to sell it. He needs some money. It's a younger kid. He bought it from some old lady or old man or whatever.
Yeah. Not dark blue, a pretty light blue.
It was well,
Yeah.
not like almost like a medium blue.
In medium.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
a pretty car. But it was a Malibu. And so I went over and looked at it. He wanted like $8,500, like 8,000 or something. And I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was right in that range. I know it was less than 9. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I buy the car, have the car for a little while, and I got my job at McNeil Chevrolet, right?
Right.
And then when I was at McNeil Chevrolet, we put a posi rear end in that car.
Yeah.
We took the cam out and put a heavy duty cam in there that was
Yeah.
a little bit more radical, where the car would go boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 right? So I only do that once. I'm not doing it again. Foo Fighters. So that's all you get. But yeah, there's a buddy of mine that worked at McNeil's. He was a mechanic and very good mechanic, especially with these hot rods, right? So he did all this stuff, and that car became very radical very quickly,
Yeah.
but fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun to drive. So then when I would go to the car shows with that, and I got pictures that I'll throw on here, But when I went to the car show with that car, all people would ever do is give you a thumbs up and go, man, that's a nice car. That's it. Didn't follow you around, didn't chase you down, didn't want to see where you lived. They weren't weird. The Mopar people are weird. And I'm one of them, so I know, okay? But they are. They're just odd, man. They do some weird stuff like that. They go chase you around and want to look at you. But the Chevelle was just fun, and we had that for a while.
Yeah. I remember that.
And that's the one that we made all the videos with the kids on.
Yeah, you made videos with the kids. Had a lot.
Then the A to the S. When we play, you shake your ass. Shake it, girl. Make sure you don't break it, girl. Turn it up.
A lot of fun with that.
With that. So, and those are on YouTube as well, and we'll throw a link up there if they want to see it. But
or throw them on this channel. I mean, you could always do that.
I could do that too. You got it. Could do that too.
Right, but yeah. We take a moment to. I do want to speak about one of my cars. It's not near. I probably shouldn't follow up your Charger or your Chevelle with this car, but another car that I own that. It's kind of weird because I didn't restore this car. I didn't put a ton of money in. Well, I did put money into it over a span of like 15 years.
Okay.
But a car that I bought really cheap that didn't run, and it was for a service for camping. I bought this vehicle to take camping, and that was it.
Okay.
Didn't drive it any other time except when I took the kids camping. And that was the black 88 Dodge Ram van.
Yes.
Yes. Which
You might know it as the A-Team van.
the A-Team van. Everybody called it the A-Team van. Well, I got a picture of that you can throw up here. Everybody had the nice rally wheels, had some BF Goodrich radios on it.
I wanted to paint that van so bad.
But bought it, the entire top was caved in. You know, somebody had put a boat or something on it, and it caved in, and it busted the A-frame rails across the top.
Sure.
And you could pop it up with your hand.
Right.
And then you drive down the road, the wind all of a sudden, bam!
Pop it right back down.
back down. And we did that,
Scare the crap out of
The
you.
inside was, whoever had it before had put walls in it.
Okay,
And
sure.
it carpeted.
Right.
It was all carpeted. Of course, when I bought it, it smelled like not marijuana, not like a Cheech and Chong van, but it smelled like whoever was in it smoked all the time, and it just stunk so bad. I actually got it cleaned.
Yeah, man.
Cleaned it all out. Yeah, cleaned it all out. Smelled fine. Put some subwoofers in it at one time, which was really cool because we just mounted them right. Because I took the carpeting off one wall and we just mounted them right to the wall of the van.
Right to the wall?
Yeah. So turn that thing on. Well, the whole van the side of the van would just be shaking. The subwoofers, but
That's
a lot
awesome.
of fun.
That's awesome.
But the thing didn't even run when I bought it.
You did a lot of work to that thing to get it roadworthy.
Not only did it run, I got it running, and then every year I do something else to it. Never got to get into the body, but when I sold that thing, the best running car I think I've ever had. I mean, that thing ran like a champ.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many transmissions did we put in that thing?
Did you put any in? Because I know Larry, who we spoke to earlier, put 2 in because the first one broke.
I did one. I was over there helping you with one. I don't remember which one it was, but I know Larry came over. I had to work on whatever weekend it was.
Okay.
And Larry came over and helped you with another one. And then I think when the third one came around, I think you just went right to Larry, and he came over, and I didn't even know about it.
I think Larry's said he's a big fan of our podcast. I think he's going to enjoy this little subject because Larry helped me. A lot of wrench time in that van. He helped me with a lot of things. Fuel pump went out. He helped me change that, which was stories among stories. We pulled the fuel pump out.
Right.
Craziest thing ever. We pulled the fuel pump out. Well, whoever changed it before had all this extra line. And
Sure.
I'm not sure Larry remembers this. So they just stuck the line and shoved it in the tank.
Okay.
Well, it pinched in the coils.
Oh, man.
So the fuel pump, when we took it out, actually wasn't broken. The line was broken, and it was just pumping the fuel into the tank.
Oh, good God.
So we changed it anyways because we had it apart, but it was like,
Right.
who did this, But a lot of, Larry put a lot of wrench time in that with me. I mean, obviously helped me out with a lot of things. And It was funny because when I couldn't get it running,
Uh-huh.
Larry came over, looked at it, and thought it was the computer. You know, right away was like, I think it's the computer. Think we need to buy a computer. So we looked for one. We found a used computer for it. Mm-hmm. Larry calls me up. Don't get that computer. Why not? He goes, I'm just not 100% sure. And I don't want you to spend $100 on a computer that you might not need. Okay. And I just pulled out the old Haynes manual. I had a Haynes and a Chilton.
Right.
And I was reading, both of them. And I just started diagnosing it and running the tests that it told to run. And boom, found out it was the pickup coil. And it was the $30 part.
Dodged a bullet.
$30 part. Yeah, so Larry was right. He saved me on that one. And once I put it in, started right up. But it never really ran good till I just put time into it.
I think we've been very fortunate with certain friends that we have. Like, if you look at Larry over the years, my buddy Phil, of course, Nathan, Tracy. If any of these guys were available and they had any know-how at all to do it, they'd just show up, which is cool. That's nice.
Yeah, cool.
That's nice. And
Yeah, Larry was. Give a shout out to Larry. Big help on all my vehicles and yours. He, put a transmission in a Toyota Tercel that my wife had for us one time.
I remember that. Okay. Yep.
So he did that all on his own. He took it to. He was working at a station, and he after hours worked on it. And a couple weeks we weren't driving it anyway, so he fixed it. It was.
Is he the one that ripped the convertible top on that?
He may have been the one who suggested, hey, let's just carry it over the top.
Yeah, that might. Maybe we'll just say that's all it is. And
oh, Larry, we love you, buddy.
But I think he did it.
That's not fair. He's not here to defend himself. He didn't remember.
You just sit there and go, "Where'd that noise come?"
He says he doesn't remember, but he remembers. Right?
Oh, he's. You have to remember he's a cop now, so he's going to have some.
Oh yeah, he doesn't remember that.
He's
stuff.
not going to self-inflict and onto something, and put himself.
Can we do another quick Larry story with the car?
Go for it.
I remember around the same time we pulled that motor going over to his house one night, and it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
He's over at his dad's house.
Yeah.
We pull in the driveway, and Larry's got a grinder out, and he's grinding the bumper off a truck or something. He's like grinding it down to, I don't know, to work on it or paint it. I don't know what they were doing.
Right.
We're like, and it was so loud. We're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I don't like my neighbors.
Oh my God.
And it was like, what? What are you doing, buddy? But it was fun.
Oh my God.
It was years ago, but
So I
he probably don't remember that either.
Oh, yeah. You have, I think maybe we should tell two other stories I can think about when we were kids with some of these cars.
Okay.
One of them would be that I just think is funny, and it's really stupid, and I hope that none of the kids in our family will do this, but
Okay.
But we'll see. You were in the process of moving in to the Windjammer.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Are you going back to the van? Another purpose for having the van.
Yes.
And no, I don't mean to move. Well, one of our favorite movies back in the day was what? Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf. Michael J. Fox.
And if anybody remembers that, what they did in the movie was...
What do they do?
They called it surfing.
Yeah.
Somebody got on top of the van while the other person drove it down the street, and they did a little surfing on.
Look, man, we got some fine new wheels, we got some good tunes, and a total disregard for public safety. You're right. Okay, let's go. All right, Wait a minute. These waves are mine.
We'll all be planning out a route we're gonna take real soon. We're waxing down our surfboard. We can't wait for June. We'll all be gone for the summer. We're on safari to stay. Tell the teacher we're surfing USA.
On top of the van.
Here's my question. You were driving.
I was driving.
I was
now,
sitting.
wait a minute. First of all, we weren't on the streets. We did not do that on the streets.
Oh, that was going through the parking lot, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it was.
That's the part I couldn't remember.
But although I wouldn't say that back in our day,
That we wouldn't have.
That kind of stuff that we didn't do. And I'm not just saying
Right.
us. People did. Kids did.
Right.
And
most
our
of them
parents
got really
did
hurt.
worse than that, you know.
Sure.
So, but yeah, we did it in the parking lot. But yeah, we did do it. I remember you being up there.
I was surfing, but my question was,
Oh yeah.
you were driving, I was sitting there. So who was the one that looked at the other person and said, "Hey, surf's up"? I don't know if you said it. Or
I don't
if said
remember.
it.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking, I don't think it was the black van either.
No, it was a moving van.
It was a work van. No, it was one of my work vans
vans,
for
which
the
was
company I worked for.
Yeah.
We delivered. We had 2 vans.
Yeah.
And I think they let me borrow one of them.
Had they known that,
It was
that
the
would've been
newer
the end of
Ford that we had. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So that was their van.
So I remember going through the entire parking lot at Windjammer, surfing on the top of this van as you're driving around the parking lot, going, weaving in between all the cars.
Was it harder or easier than it looked in the movie?
I had no issues. But part of
So
that's the
easier?
driver too.
I
But,
wasn't going fast enough.
but you weren't going very fast. But I just remember when we pulled up, your apartment there in Windjammer was on the second floor.
Yes.
And Deb came walking out, and I'm damn near eyeball to eyeballs. We pull up, and she's standing there looking over the balcony, and I pull up, and I'm almost the same height as her. I could almost damn near just grab the balcony and jump over, which I might have done. I don't remember.
Did
But
she just roll her eyes
she
and
just
turn
looked
around?
like, what is wrong with you two? You guys are losers. But I remember that story, and I wanted to talk about that, about the surfing, because that was
Oh, I forgot.
that was
Till you
fun.
brought it up.
That was fun.
That was fun.
And then the other thing would probably be the race. Should we talk about that?
We can talk about that.
You want to talk about it? You want to start?
I don't know. Our kids are listening, and my grandkids might be listening one day.
It's a different time.
Okay, don't ever do this, anybody. Not anymore. It's too dangerous.
Don't try this at home
Don't try this at home
with your
or
own
at
cars.
work.
When you're a dumb young man like we
Okay,
were.
so we're calling it the race.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
let me set the backstory.
All right, you do it.
I'm driving my Starfire,
Uh-huh.
my first car. You're driving your Chevelle, your first car.
Yes, sir.
I had a V6 231, I believe, and you had a straight six 230.
Yes. Both made by General Motors, I might
Both
add.
made by General Motors.
It's really the same
So-
frickin' motor.
It's late night. I think it may have been after work one night. I think you came up to my work, so it's got to be one in the morning.
Was it that late?
Yeah, I bet
Okay.
it was midnight, 1 o'clock. You came up to my work, I think,
Even
which was
better.
crazy because I'm working. So you come up to my work as I'm leaving, so we could drive home in separate cars together. You know, because that's what you do.
What you did in the 80s. You got a car, I got a car. Gas costs
So
80
what
cents a
road were
gallon.
we on?
Let's go. It was Garden Road.
We were on
It was
Garden Road.
Road.
Of course, back in the day, no traffic. I mean, not many people lived back there.
No.
The fact that you lived on
Long
Christie,
stretch of land with no lights.
long stretch of land, no traffic, no lights, especially at that time of night. There was
Yeah.
hardly ever any. What there was that night.
Yeah. There was
So
both-
okay, so what happened? We're driving down Garden. Who was in front? You remember?
I
who
want
was
to say
following who?
I want to say I was following you. That's no, because that's
were.
what I recall.
You were following. I was following you.
You were following me. Okay.
Who was in the left lane? Who was in the right?
You were in the left lane.
Yes, sir.
I remember that part.
Yes.
So you're in the left lane, and then for whatever reason, we decide as we're going down Garden
Well,
Road,
I was passing you.
you were trying to pass me,
And you said,
and I said,
"No,
"Oh,
sir."
Hell no." So all I know is I floored it
As I was already.
at the same time as you were already doing it, and you probably could have measured within an inch or 2 inches off of our front bumpers.
It just
nobody
worked
was
out
passing
perfect.
nobody.
We were right next to each other. I mean, I could look at you and read your lips. We were face
yeah, we
to
got a
face.
conversation. Yeah.
Yes. Going as fast as those cars would go.
Which
was 90, I think.
it was, yeah. I think that's what the
Somewhere
speedometer was,
around
somewhere around 90.
My speedometer, I think, topped out at 85.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how far. Yours went to 120, I think.
Either that or 110, but yeah.
So
It went over it, so yeah.
And I know I was pegged and past it, and I don't know what yours said. but
It was as pegged as far as it was
Yeah.
going to go.
yes. So what happened?
So we, as we're coming up, Garden, if people don't understand this, Garden Road runs east and west.
Yes.
And we were heading what would probably be west at
Yes.
that point.
Yes, sir.
So we're flying and heading there. And it goes right up to Chrissy Road, which is the road that's where Mom and Dad's house was at.
Right.
So, and when you went to Chrissy Road, it dead ended into Chrissy Road. So
Right,
it
it's a
stopped.
T,
Yeah,
right.
it was a T. So now you have to literally go north and south.
Yes.
So as we're approaching the stop sign, because there's no light there, just a stop sign.
Don't do this at home.
Don't do this. As I'm pulling up, obviously I'm not going to take the turn at 90.
Right.
So I
We
knew
both
this.
slowed down.
So we both started to slow down. As we started to slow down, I happened to look over I think it was my right shoulder, looking over the right side, if I'm recalling correctly, and I see headlights. Mm-hmm. And I went, oh crap, there's a guy coming. So I come to a stop at the corner, like a good man should.
Like a good man should.
It should. And somebody decided,
I'm the older brother. I have to win.
and he's like, I see my opportunity. I'm going to go around him, and I'm going to head north
Now
on Chrissy
remember,
Road.
I'm already in the wrong lane
Yeah,
because I'm going the wrong way
Yeah.
in the left lane because it's a
Yeah.
2-lane highway.
yeah. And you just haul ass around that corner.
Didn't stop.
Didn't stop. Practically went up on two wheels, making that turn.
No.
Close to it. Close to it. So, but yeah, and then of course that other guy like slams on his brakes and you
He
swerve
didn't slam
around
on his
him.
brakes.
Didn't he?
No,
Oh,
I wasn't that close to him.
He
was coming.
You were pretty close.
I'm sure I scared the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Which-
And your brother that's sitting there watching the whole thing, sitting at the light, sitting there watching, going,
Yeah, not one of my better moments.
but. So is it official? Did I lose? Did you win that race? And
Absolutely, I won that race.
damn it,
So I'm 1-0.
you are. Oh, this is not going good.
And we're not racing again
Why
because
not?
we haven't finished our car story. And if we were to go now, it's not fair. Truck versus truck.
Truck versus truck.
I'll beat you in that one too.
I don't know. I got a 5. Well, it's 5-3.
Come on.
Yeah, you probably got me on that one too.
I'm
Truck
sorry.
versus truck, but I did put a different tune on it too.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's definitely quicker. But I think you're going to get me on the high end.
I think so.
So I might get you on the low end and surprise you and go, "What the heck?" But then after that, I think you'll get me. So as far as the car story, okay. So then after where we leave off at, I had the '69, then the '70 Chevelle. Had that for quite some time. Then the auto industry took a plunge. This is going down back to like 08,
Oh
09.
yeah.
Car industry took a plunge. Sold that car to a guy in North Carolina. Came out in the middle of winter. Snow all over the place.
Wow.
This is a Posi rear end, rear wheel drive.
You drove it out of here?
He drove it back home
Oh, wow.
during a snowstorm. And I thought, you better have me. You better pay me before you leave, Jack, because if you're going to wire me that money, it may never show up. You crash that thing. But he drove it home. He was successful. He did it. But it was heartbreaking to watch that car pull out the driveway.
Yeah, that was a fun
He bought
car.
it at the dealership, and that
That
was
was a
just
fun car.
Yeah. So he did that, and he bought it, and it was gone. And then, we sold that, and thank goodness we didn't owe anything on it, so that was able to help with mortgage payments and everything else for the time being until the auto industry went back up. And then later on in life, I'm trying to think when that was, but it had to be I was back working at Yark, and I'm moving on to the 08 now because I'm thinking that's probably what was next. I happened to be at work and was sitting in my office, which was on the south side of Central Avenue, and across the street we had a small dealership there for Yark, and that was where all the like real high mileage old stuff was at the time, right? And I just happened to look over there, and there's this bright orange something or other sitting there. And I'm like, what in the hell is that?
Why would you be drawn to an orange car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, I happen to see it, and it's a Charger, and it's a Daytona Charger. And I'm like,
What?
oh, hold on. So I just remember the quick stories. I go over there, and I look at the car, and then from the exterior, just walking around it, it's very clean. No major rust, no rust holes, no stuff hanging.
Gotcha.
The rims don't have road rash on them, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I go get the keys. I go outside. It's got remote start. It works. It starts right up, and it sounds solid. And I went, okay. Because I looked at the sheet on it, had 150,000, 140,000 miles
Okay.
on it. So I'm thinking, okay, give me the grocery list of stuff that's wrong with it, right?
Right.
So anyway, so I take the car and I drive around. As I'm driving around, I realize, hey, it's got heated seats. Wow, these are like leather suede type seats. Oh, look, there's a sunroof. Oh, it's got navigation. Oh, wait a minute, it's got the built-in HD disc player, so you can literally download music into it and it'll store it in there like a hard drive, right? So I'm like, wow, it's got all these
a lot
great
of
features
options
there.
there,
Da, 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 da. So I take it to my buddy who's a mechanic, and I put it up in the air, and I said, just put it on the lift. I'm looking at this thing. And he goes, okay. And I said, just give me the grocery list and come see me later. So he goes, okay. A couple hours later, he comes over to my office, and he sits down, and I'm just waiting for him to go, dude, it needs this, and the tranny's got this. I'm waiting, right? He goes, well, for us to put on the lot, he goes, there's only one little thing, and it was part of the front end suspension. I'm trying to think if it was a linkage or something, but he said it's so minor. If I fix it, it's $100 to fix it. I go,
Oh,
okay.
jeez.
And he goes, I remember it's like 100 or 125 with labor. He says, but it's not bad yet, but it's going, and it's going to be.
Yeah.
And he goes, and it's to the point where we wouldn't even fix it as a dealership because it's
Right.
not a safety thing.
Right.
So I looked at him. I said, shit, fix it. So he fixed it. I bought the car, paid less than 10 for it
Oh, wow.
back then, right?
Right.
And then brought it home, and Tyler freaked out because I sent pictures to Tyler. I said, what do you think about this? Oh, Dad, you got to get it. So then I got it home, and I've got a temp tag in the back, right? And the temp tag there and everything. And then Tyler's like, oh, what's that license plate? Does that mean you bought it? I said, no.
So
that's
how
just,
old was Tyler at the time?
He was born in 02, so he was 6.
Oh, wow.
I bought it when Abby was like 1 maybe, so he was 6 or 7 or 8 years old. He was under 10,
Yeah.
you know, and then we've had it ever since. I think I'm right around 10 years of ownership
Right.
of that car now,
Right.
you know, so.
Now your kids won't let you sell it now.
Yeah, and then that's the other story. Deb and I are getting, you know, closer and closer to retirement, like, you know, like a lot of people, that's
Yeah.
our collective ages. And
Yeah.
So I just told Deb, I said, hey, I've been thinking about this. I said, I want to buy my retirement car. She goes, what do you mean your retirement car? I said, well, you know, I love the Charger. We call it the Beast, the orange one. The Daytona's the Beast. And I'm like, I love the Beast, and he's great, and we've done all this stuff to it, and we fixed him up, and he's, you know, all this stuff. And I go, but he's got 174,000 miles now. You know, what's the odds that this thing's going to last me? How many years into my retirement I'll have to get rid of it?
Right.
Okay. So I said, so I'd like to replace it with something. Well, what do you want? I said, I don't know. I said, I'm not going to get another 69. They're too much money. They're all 6-figure cars. Not doing that. And besides that, I already know what it's like when you own one.
Right.
So I'm not doing
Right.
that. So anyways, I just started looking, and I just got my eyeball, and I found this, another 08 Charger. It's a B5 blue, and it's a Super B. And it's an SRT 8 car. So it's everything this Daytona isn't. The Daytona's got a 5.7 Hemi, right? So it's a big V8, and it's powerful and fun. But the 08 Super B is a 6.1 motor, which is a special motor that was used only for a few years, right? But it's an SRT, so it's the fastest thing that they have. So I was looking for that and looking. Well, then I find this guy that's got one with less than 21,000 miles on it. And of all places, he lives where? Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio. So I tell Deb about it, and I said, here's the plan. I'm going to buy the blue one, right? Then when I get it here and I have it, I'm going to turn around and sell the orange one. I'm going to take the money from the orange one. This was the deal. Take the money from the orange one, put it on the blue one. So now I've got very little invested, hopefully, right?
Right.
And I said, and then there you go. And she said, why would you buy it now? And I said, because then that way, Yark pays for it. I use my money and my salary, and I'm not using my retirement to pay for the car, right? So I thought that made a lot of sense. Well, we find the car, happens to have a supercharger in it, so it's like 800 horsepower or something stupid, tuned down from almost 1,000. He tuned it down because it was so radical, if you remember the story, because you were there.
I remember.
So he tuned it down. So anyways, that's what I did is I bought that car. You took me out there to see the car. We buy it, and then we drive it home.
Yeah.
And then I put the Daytona the next day on Facebook Marketplace, and I get like 3, 4, 5, 6 hits of somebody wanting to buy it.
Right. Right.
So then I tell Deb, I said, this thing's not going to stick around very long. It's
Right.
going to go. I got too many people, doing it. And then she calls a family meeting. Man, the kids and I don't. She doesn't sound like this. The kids and I don't want you to do that. we want you to keep it. It's kind of part of the family. And I just kind of giggled under my breath because, like, that's the story of the General Lee. It's, you know.
Right?
So they said, so I was about to say to her, well, hey, what do you, I don't want a couple of, different multicolored chargers in the driveway. And then this other little devil angel here started whacking me in the side of the ear going, shut up. Your wife wants you to keep 2 muscle cars, idiot. Shut
I remember
up.
when you did that and we're talking about selling it.
Yeah.
I was considering buying it from you.
Oh, see? Keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Keep it in the
I'm
family.
like, because you offered it, and I'm like, yeah, nah. But I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can pass that car up. If he's going to sell that, that might be
It's just a fun car.
worth having. Oh, it's
You know.
just so pretty.
And then we drove it to Georgia, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was
And
fun.
it really proved its worth.
Which we wouldn't have done
No,
if you sold it.
that's right.
So,
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think that covers pretty much all my cars, doesn't it?
I think that covers almost everything.
Everybody's. I think yours and mine.
Well, you finally got your truck, though.
Yeah, and then I finally got another truck and bought that '08 Chevy Silverado. It's got 120,000 miles on it, but it's probably as clean interior and exterior wise as that
Right.
Charger was
Right,
that I had.
yeah.
It's just so clean. And other than this poor little girl driving down the street on her bicycle running into my car, it's had 0 damage on
I
it.
can't believe that. Well, I can't believe that.
It's going to happen.
Of course, that's not your first truck.
Nope. Mm-mm. No, the
You
S10
did?
was my first truck, but I had.
Well,
another
that was your
truck.
first truck. What was your first full-size truck? You did have another one.
I did.
And that stayed in the family,
It
as I
did.
recall.
Yeah, you needed a truck.
My brother did me a solid. He had this $200 truck. I don't know what you paid for it at Yark. Not much. It wasn't Yark. I don't know where you were
Ed
working at
Schmidt.
the time. Ed Schmidt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
It was a wholesale trade-in.
just this, wholesale trade and clunker of a truck. No exhaust. It was loud as hell. And
Loved it.
Yeah, but it was a full size, long bed.
Yeah, long bed. Regular cab.
Yeah, GMC.
Mm-hmm.
And you were driving it to and from work, I think. Is that what you drove mostly? Just to and
was,
from work?
yeah.
And I needed the car at the time, and you gave it to me. And
Yep. I just signed over the title and go, here you go.
Yeah, which
Love
was really awesome. And then I had it for a long time.
Yeah.
That truck, you gave it to me. It had 250,000 miles
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
200 plus.
When I got rid of it, it had over 300,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And that truck was
Yeah.
one of the best running trucks I had.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
did some stuff to it.
I mean, it's not a brand new Dodge Ram.
Oh,
Don't get me
God,
wrong, but
no.
that truck ran great. Never had. And the funny thing was, remember how bad it leaked oil?
It did leak a lot of oil.
For I don't know how many years I had that truck, I put oil in it every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Oh, yeah.
I
Had to.
I was, O'Reilly or Murray's was open for a long time because of me, because I kept going and buying oil. That was back when it wasn't expensive, and I was buying cases, because I just put it in the back seat.
Get that oil order for missing? Yeah.
It was too funny. Then they started coming out with that high mileage oil. Remember they had that?
Yep.
So every once in a while I'd throw one of those in there, but it was just hysterical. I mean, that truck wouldn't stop running.
I want to ask you a question,
Yeah.
and this is a surprise question
Oh,
that I didn't
no.
tell you about,
Don't do this.
but it's car related,
Okay.
and it's from our childhood.
Okay.
Some of this, I'm sure, because you obviously have a much more solid memory than I do for all this stuff. Because
I
almost-
don't, but okay.
Oh, sure. I'm getting half of this wrong, and we're getting left lane to right lane, and you're like, nope, you were in front, I was in back.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
No, it's okay. But anyways, there was something that happened to me that you were there with me, and what it was is that there was a party that somehow or another we were never invited to, but we had to go to it. Cindy was dating Catfish, Pat.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to remember this like you do.
Well, this thing, I just remember that Cindy was going to go to this party. And back in this day, we were pretty young. I would say that I was at the most 10.
So I'd be 12.
I would
around
think,
there.
because I know Dukes was hot on
Yes.
TV. Dukes was hot, okay.
Yes.
So we go over to this guy. Now, this guy had and I looked it up. I'm pretty sure it was an old Grand Am.
Yes.
Okay. when Grand Am's Pontiac made
70s.
was big. It was
Yes.
a big car,
Yeah.
right? It's like a big old Cutlass, right?
Yeah, big car.
So, but he had a nice one.
Yes, he did.
Sounded solid. Sounded like a muscle car.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a whole bunch of buddies, and all of them had different kinds of muscle cars.
If I remember correctly, Pat let you back that up in the driveway at Fleet Road one day, and you barely gave it any gas that you didn't think, but it spun the tires
yeah, it just-
completely.
yeah.
Just
he goes easy.
yeah, easy. I think you were sitting on his lap and did that, and it was like, yeah, that's too much.
Yep.
Because it don't need gas.
No, no.
Yeah, that was a fast car.
But we went to this party, and Cindy went, and somehow or another, she got hosed into having to take her two little brothers.
Right. Don't know how that happened. but
And
yeah.
I don't know exactly how that happened, so we need to get Cindy maybe on the phone at some point and ask her about this.
Yeah.
Because I want to get her memory. But I just remember going there, and in the... What's that?
It's late.
Oh, it's getting... I can't call her tonight then. We'll call her in another episode.
We'll call
come
it
back
another
to it.
episode.
But anyways, there was a guy that had a 69 Charger there.
Okay.
That was there.
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. Maybe you remember this. So Pat made a big deal about it because it was an orange Charger. It was orange,
Okay.
and it didn't have any of the decals or nothing on, but it was a very pretty car. And from what I can remember as a kid, it was in really good shape. But of course, I probably, it could have a bunch of
Right,
rust on it, and
right,
I'd look
right.
right past it. So anyway, so this guy says, "Oh, you guys like the Dukes of Hazzard?" And we're like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "You want to go for a ride?" Do you not remember
I
this?
vaguely remember a ride.
So we sit, you and I are in the back seat. Pat's in the front passenger, and this other guy's driving. It's his car, so he's driving.
I vaguely remember.
And we go down the side street near his house, and this guy takes off, and Pat says, "Give him a good time." And he looked at Pat and he goes, "You sure?" And he goes, "These guys are good. You're fine." Right? So this guy goes down one of the side streets, and I'm in the back seat, right? And I remember looking out Pat's window, and I'm looking straight down the road because we're going down the road sideways. And that car's spinning tires, and the motor's making all kinds of noises. And to me, it was like listening to a love song.
Right.
I was like, I gotta have one of these. I gotta have one of these.
That was where your love was.
Oh my God, yeah. It
That's-
just
see?
and I just remember that.
I love it from the show, but I don't remember. I vaguely remember going for a ride. I don't remember
Wow.
it being that crazy.
It was. I just remember doing that, and then he came back, and I don't think Cindy was overly excited with the fact, 'cause I think she was standing outside and saw us coming down the street
Yeah.
sideways. But anyways, yeah. So I just wanted to see if you remembered that story at all. But I remember that was the first time I ever rode in one of those cars.
I remember the party. I remember a lot of people being there, and I remember Pat playing the drums at one point.
Yeah. Was it a graduation party maybe?
I think it was a graduation. I don't
Something like
remember,
that.
but it was just some sort of party. I'm not really sure. Maybe Cindy had to babysit, and we weren't supposed to be there. I don't know. Not to get Cindy in trouble. I don't think that was the case.
Bum, 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 bum.
I don't think that was the case. I don't remember Cindy ever taking us out of the house. Of course, I mean, how would I know if mom or dad gave permission or not? But I don't remember. It wasn't like every weekend we were at a party
No.
with her and her friends. I'm not saying that,
That's why I remember it, because it was so unusual.
but I don't remember why we were there.
Because we were always at home
Maybe it
on
was
Friday
a
nights.
once in a lifetime thing. I don't remember, but yeah.
We talked about this a while ago too. We talked about the Mount Rushmore for cars, right?
Yes. You did.
Well, we talked about it a little.
Yeah,
bit.
we talked about it.
So what I was thinking, I want to ask you. We can do it one of two ways.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore has 4 heads on it, right? It's got 4
Okay.
presidents.
Okay.
I want us to put out of the cars that we talked about tonight.
Okay.
I want us to do our own Mount Rushmore. You can do 4 of your own cars, or you can do 2 and 2. 2 of yours and 2 of mine.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a Mount Rushmore, then you give me a Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, but it would be like if you're going to do 4 of your cars, then it's your Mount Rushmore of your 4.
Yeah, because
top
if I
cars.
do both of ours, they're all going to be 4 yours.
Well, no, I mean you would pick 2, and then I would pick 2. I'd pick my 2, you pick your 2.
Yeah, but if we were still, or I only had to pick 2 of mine. I can only pick 2 of mine. Well, what do you want to do? Because if I pick 4, it's going to be 4 of yours.
Oh well, no, then,
Obviously.
Then I want you to do 4 of yours.
4 of mine.
4 of yours, your top 4. From your childhood.
Actually, I think the blue Ram's going to be on there.
That's a nice
17. I love that truck.
That's a hell of a nice car. Or do too.
The light blue Ram was just. I got comments on it.
Well, they're all Laramies,
Poll,
right?
people
They were Laramie
No,
trucks?
the first one was not a Laramie. The first one was a Bighorn.
It was a Bighorn, that's right.
It was that light blue color, which they don't make anymore.
Is that the Patriot Blue?
I don't know if that's what it was called.
Okay.
They don't make it now. But, because I think that was the last year. It was either that or 18 was the last year they made that blue. And I was like, why did you get rid of that blue?
Right.
But I'd pull into a gas station. Oh, that's a nice truck.
Yep.
I don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
My other trucks are brand new Laramies. I don't get that from people anymore. I did with that blue one. People looked. And I always wanted the Ram. That was a brand new one. I loved it. So that would go on there. Also, of my cars, the Z24.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I liked that one, the Z24. Man, it's kind of difficult because what am I going for here? Am I going for
The ones that are near and dear in your heart.
near and dear in my heart?
Yeah.
I mean, the Cutlass would have to go up there. I've had it for
Yeah.
40 years.
You've owned that car longer than any other car.
Yeah, almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had it. It's maybe sitting in my yard, not running with no motor, but
Right.
I had it forever, so it's got to go up there, I guess, for what it always could have been, what I wanted it to be.
Right.
And I'm going to throw the Starfire in there for the last one because it was my first car, and I turned it into something nicer than when I got it. I mean, I put a lot of work into that car, and I had 2 accidents in that car. The first one, insurance paid for it.
Right.
Second one, I paid for it. I fixed it completely myself. We bought
Right.
that front end. Remember, we had to change the front end.
Yep.
Bought a whole new front end and did all the body work myself. Didn't paint it. Had a paint job from Mako, but it looked nice. I changed the color.
Yeah.
I had the new tires. I had the mud flaps. I had the louvers. I had the fog lights in the grill. Everything in that
And
car.
I think I helped you
didn't
wire those, didn't I?
Didn't like, huh?
Did I help you wire one of those?
Oh, sure. Sure you did.
I thought so.
And,
I remember that for
the
some
running lights. I love those running lights. Mm-hmm. It'd start snowing, and I'd go out and pull my covers off and turn the running lights on. I could see for miles. Turn off the headlights. You could see for miles. It was great, but
Right.
illegal as hell, but they worked well.
But it did the job, baby.
But yeah, those would be my 4.
Okay. All right. I think for you, I do put, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. I definitely agree with the Starfire because it's the first one. You have to, and
Yeah.
you did so much to
Yeah.
it. The Camaro was, even if you didn't do anything to it, it was truly you. It was quick. It was fast. It was muscle.
Yeah.
You loved that
I did.
car.
I
That
did
was
love
a
that
cool
car.
car. And I think the Cutlass has to go on there, obviously, because it's a beautiful Cutlass when you first got it, and when we drove it before you pulled the 350 rocket out of it. And then your fourth one really could be almost any truck, but I think you're right. I think that first Bighorn, that
Yeah.
blue one, that was sweet.
Yeah.
That was really sweet. For me, if we switch gears and just go to my cars, obviously my black 68's got to be up there. That was my
Yeah.
first one and my baby. My silver 69 Charger's got to be up there.
Oh, definitely.
Because it was just,
Like you said, too nice.
yeah, it was just,
Too nice to own.
yeah. And plus that was my dream car.
Yeah.
Year, make, model, pretty much everything else except for the color. I think you have to put the orange Daytona on there just because of the Georgia trip, the
Yes.
stuff that we've done with
Yes.
it and to it.
Yes.
Tyler and I have the experience of ripping that whole front end off and redoing that whole front
Yep.
end together, father and
Yeah.
son. That does stuff,
Oh, yeah.
I think that 70 blue Chevelle's got to be up there.
That's
You know,
that's exactly what I would pick for your 4.
so. Well, I've got one more.
Oh, you got 5th?
No, I got 4.
that
I got
3?
I did 2 Chevelles and 2 Chargers. No, that's it. You're right. You're right.
I thought
That was
I
it.
was having a math fart right there.
No,
For a minute.
for a minute there, I was debating between the orange one and the blue one,
Oh, yeah.
and then I said, "No, man,
Gotta be the orange one because your family wouldn't let you get rid of it.
yeah." And with what Tyler and I did with
Just
it,
like
and
you
what
said,
and
it's a
I did
family
with
car.
It,
Yeah.
it is. So that car's
Yeah, and the trip down to
Yeah.
Georgia really adds
Yeah.
to that, and all the work you did on it.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think that's probably our best
Yeah.
best setup for those things.
Yeah, those are good route restaurants. I like those. Plating, putting an extra garage in the backyard. Yes, I looked
Right.
into it. Basically, I had a storage unit. It was 10 by 20,
Right?
and I filled it completely with crap
Oh
from
my
our
gosh.
house and garage. And I was like, I'm paying money for this every month. Why not just put up a garage in the backyard, and I'll have the extra storage I need, and plus I can put my cutlass in there, and because it's just sitting outside. And I've kind of backed off that. It's just more work for me that I'm not going to do. So
Yeah. No, I get it.
I'm not going to do anything to the cutlass. I'm going to sell it probably this spring.
Okay.
I'm not going to work on anything. All I would be building the garage for is for storage. So
Got
why not
it.
just get rid of stuff?
Got it. Okay.
So it's all in my garage right now. My other garage that I don't use because we're down to one car
Sure.
because Deb, for a while there, she wasn't working after the COVID.
Right.
She was working, but at home.
Right. So she
We only needed one car.
Right. Why
So
pay an
why
extra
pay for
car
two
payment?
cars?
Yeah. Well,
So, and now she's working 3 days a week. So she just takes me to work before it's no big deal. I'm 5 minutes away from work. She's 6 minutes away from home. I mean.
sure. Sure.
So she just drives me in 3 days a week, and I get the car the other 2 days and the weekends, or she needs it. But it's the truck that doesn't really fit in my garage. So
Yeah.
it's no big deal having crap in there right now.
I have really probably like one more minor topic to go over,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
I don't think it's minor.
Well, it could expand if you're thinking what I'm going to do.
Well, maybe not.
But the thing that that we really haven't touched on at all is like the bucket list cars.
Yeah.
The cars that got away. Maybe there's a story of
Yeah.
a car that you almost bought or you came real close to buying. And we've talked about this the other night a
Yeah.
little bit too, but we just
Little
didn't
bit.
do it on air. So I guess why don't we start with you a little bit on that?
Okay.
And is there any cars that either A, are on your bucket list that you haven't bought yet, but you would still like to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or is there a story about a car that, man, I almost bought this. It's not on my bucket list, but I almost had a chance to buy this car, and it just didn't work out. Do you have anything on that?
I almost bought a 69 Nova when I sold the Starfire.
Really? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I had, the trading post, and I had looked at one, and I had called about it, and I talked to the guy about it, and I was going to go out and look for it, but my car hadn't sold. So about a week later, my car did sell, and the Nova was gone. It was a
Damn it.
69 Nova, all done up. The guy had a 350 double, what do you have in it?
Dual carbs or something?
No, double stroke or something. I don't remember what it was called. Some kind of carburetor, and I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
And I'm like, it was a fast car, and I had my eye on that. And if I had sold my car a week earlier, I'd have bought it.
Wow.
I'd have bought it.
Wow. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's the one that almost got away. The Cavalier almost got away that I did buy
The Z24? Okay.
because I went over to some place that not even going to mention this time, but I saw it in the lot. I was looking at Z24s
Okay.
pretty much exclusively. I looked at a couple Grand Ams, but I really wanted the Z24. They were a little bit out of my price range,
Okay.
just a little. But I seen this blue one at the car dealership that I drove by every day on my way home from work, and I went in and I talked to the guy, and I said, this is what my monthly payment needs to be for this car.
Okay.
I'll trade in my truck. This is what it needs to be. Can't get anywhere close to that. I'm $15 over is what he told me. Can't
wow.
can't even get close to it.
Wow.
$15 a month over. I said, no, not going to do it. So I just left it, and for the next month, I drove by that car lot, and that car was still there. Still there.
kidding.
Still there. So I went back in. I said, hey, it's me again. Can you get that payment I wanted now? And he goes, in stock. So I wanted $185 a month, what I said.
There you
I
go.
said not a dime over, and I stretched a little bit because he gave me $185 and like 35 cents, I think, and I said, okay.
He said, all right.
I'll give it 35 cents. Although when I went in to trade in my truck, the day I went to pick up my car, And we're sitting down in the finance office.
Yeah.
The guy goes, okay, so payments are going to be $192.75 a month. And I'm like, no.
No, it's not.
He goes, what do you mean? I go, we agreed on 185 and change, whatever it was. Well, it says here 192. I'm looking at all the numbers. That's what it comes up to. And I'm like, well, they gave me my keys to my truck back. I'm going home. And then he went and got the manager. The manager comes back in and he's looking at the computer and he goes, well, which I can't believe he said this in front of me, but he's like, well, put an extra 100 on the trade and then see what it does. So the guy types it in. Oh, 185.35 cents. Oh, amazing. You tried to cheat me out of $100.
Right.
I was not. If I didn't want that car so bad, I'd have left.
Right. Wow.
Because I thought about it. I thought about, you know what? Just give me my keys back. I'm going home.
Sure.
I don't know why you're trying to rip me off for $100 freaking dollars. And you work in the business. I think you know that's probably pretty asinine.
It is.
Can you imagine any of your managers doing that? I mean, maybe you can, but
I can see them working it and then talking, like being out on the sales floor, talking to the customer and saying, okay, and they go back to the computer and they put an extra $100 in it. It comes out to the what was it?
185.
185. So, and they go, okay, that works. But what he's doing is that the deal was stored without the $100 in there.
Right.
And he just went in there and messed with it like on a worksheet, found out that it was a better price, and then never saved it. And then it goes back to finance, and it's that way. That's happened before.
That's possible.
But probably not.
If it had that car and it sat there a month,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be driving it. And I think what helped
That's
was
funny.
one of the employees was driving it.
Oh.
Because they had to go up to talk to the guy. It was gone.
Oh, okay.
And found out one of the employees was driving it to and from work every day, which was fine with me because, I mean, it wasn't getting sold that way. So
Right.
it
That's
worked out
true.
in my favor. You know, it's just the fact that they had it for so long, they wanted to get rid of it. So
Is there any cars that you didn't get that got away, that you didn't end up buying, though? You said the Nova. Was there anything else?
there's a couple Chargers that you and I were looking into on when we were kids.
Oh, when we were real young and, like, still living at home, right?
Sure. And we thought about maybe buying a car together or
And, you know, we had talked about
talked
it.
about
yeah.
69 Chargers and looked at a
Yeah.
few, and we found one specific one that I will never forget.
Good.
It was $1,000. Is that what they wanted? Like
think so.
$1,000 for
$1,000.
this damaged 69 Charger that
It ran.
ran good. It was in an accident, and the hood was damaged, the left front fender was damaged, and the left side driver's door was damaged.
Right.
And we never looked at it, but we were like $1,000.
No picture of
Hey,
it, just an ad.
Yeah, we could fix this.
Just need a hood.
So
we
then
need a
we're
fender.
reading through the trading
Parts.
post still, and here comes the parts section.
Sure.
And lo and behold, we find a 69 Dodge Charger left fender, a 69 Dodge Charger hood, and a left side driver's door.
Yeah.
For like what, $50 a piece?
Yeah, so it was cheap.
We're
So
like, oh my God, we got a car and all the parts that
Yeah.
needs right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's sold before we could even talk to anybody about it.
I think we might have called over and they said, oh, yeah, it's sold or something.
Yeah, we
like
were.
that. So
But that was like,
that stunk.
oh man.
Oh, that sucked.
And we, more than willing to work on it and paint it and all that stuff. But
Before we had the 68 Chevelle, the black one, I have to ask Dad. I don't know if I found it or if he found it because I don't remember. I just remember that there was an opportunity for us to buy an old Chevy.
okay,
Not just any old Chevy. A 57 Chevy.
oh, nice.
And I don't know if it ran real well or what it was, but I know it had a busted tail light or something. And Dad took me to like a swap meet for something. We were at a swap meet, and I was going around looking for a tail light for this thing. And I found one. Now you just mentioned the hood, and now it was $50 and the right.
Right.
Well, now today, a used one is $800.
Right.
Right. Okay. So back then, a tail light for a car probably would have ran $5.
Right, $5, $10.
$10,
Easily.
right? Okay. This was $100 for the light,
Oh,
for the tail light lens. And that's what it needed. So when I told Dad about it, I said, look, that's kind of high, isn't it? And he goes, yeah. He says, I think we're going to have to let that car go because everything that we're going to have to put on that car is going to be big money. And that's probably not a good thing for you as a kid. You're not going to be able to afford all that.
right.
And I just went, oh, okay. Right? So I remember I wasn't happy
Until
about
later,
it, but I was like,
until
okay.
later you realize, oh man, what got away?
Yeah. So that one got away. Of course,
Yeah.
that white
Yeah.
Charger in Cary, Ohio got away. But, it's okay. The Charger that I ended up having, that silver one, was
Oh yeah.
so good. But, yeah.
So how about bucket list cars? What do you got?
Oh, okay. There's a couple things. I've had some conversation with some guys at work and stuff, and there's some cars that I like from movies and stuff, that I always thought were really cool and that, but I don't know if they're really on my bucket list anymore. But we like, there's shows like Knight Rider with his
Yes,
Trans Am
yes.
and Firebirds, and I like those, and I think that they're pretty cool, and it'd be neat to have one. But it doesn't strike my fancy where I'm like, okay, I want to look for one. I want to see if I
Right.
can find one.
Right.
Right. If I ran across one, I'd probably go, well, okay, but I don't think I'm like looking to buy one. You and I had talked about for many years about a DeLorean from Back to the
Yes.
Future, right?
Yes.
And they're not very fast.
No.
Not that I don't need a super fast car, but they're just not known as a fast car at
Right.
all.
Right.
They're still $30,000 to $35,000 for a decent one,
Yep.
which is pricey for what I want to do. And if you want it to be anything like Back to the Future and you wanted to have it, some of that stuff, it's a $100,000 conversion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, it'd be great, it'd be neat, but it's a pipe dream for me. I don't think that I would ever go crazy to try to go out and actually buy one.
Right, right.
And let's do it.
Right.
They are cool to see. You can't go through a drive-through and order food with those things. If you see the drivers and passenger window, they only open 3, 4, 5 inches or whatever it is. So just open it like it's like a mail slot on a
Yeah.
post office box or
Yeah.
something. So, anyways, there's that. The car that I really, for whatever reason, just seems to get me, and that is the Bandit Trans Am. The 77, 78,
Really?
79 Trans Am. That, to me, I find myself in free time on the internet looking at them, right?
Yeah.
And doing that. And luckily, because I'm a little bit older now, when I do go look for them, I know not only what I'm looking for, but I don't want a trailer queen. I want a driver, right? I want it to be black. I want it to have T-tops,
Right,
right?
right.
I want it to have the stuff that we remember from the movie, but I want it to almost be like the Trans Am version of the Orange Daytona.
Okay.
I want it to be a fun driver that we can get in, and if it gets scratched, I'll go, okay,
Right.
let's go to dinner, and let's
Right.
go here, and let's travel here, and
Absolutely one you could take out to dinner.
Yeah, that's what I'm really interested in, is something like that.
Drive
But-
down to Georgia for sure in it.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
baby, that would be
No,
a good
that's
time.
yeah, absolutely.
Anything else on your?
I think any
bucket
car
list?
that I'm looking for would be a driver. But I have 2 cars on my bucket list, and one, it's never going to happen because it's 71 Barracuda.
Oh, good God!
Yeah,
You got another Chrysler
can't
Plymouth
afford
on
that.
there,
Yeah,
man.
you-
That's
yeah,
a $100,000 car.
Yeah, it's a $100,000 car. That's never
Oh,
going to happen.
Jim.
I wouldn't even think of it. I don't know.
Cuda.
And you know what? I was never like a fan of that growing up, but it's just seeing them now. I just love the style on the front end, of course, and it has to be the 71. The other ones don't do it for me. It's only the 71. Yeah, especially the front end,
Sure.
but the back end too, and it's just it's that car. But it hasn't been a dream car of mine forever. What has is a 69 Corvette. Well, it used to be a 68. I've changed it to 69.
Okay.
69 blue Corvette with side pipes. And the only modification I would want to make, if it didn't already have, is you can buy these. Yeah, that's it right there, blue one. That's almost the same color. Somewhere in there similar.
Right.
I don't care what the motor is. Doesn't have to be manual. I don't care. The blue with the side pipes. Two changes I'd like to make. If you see the rear end right there, can you pull that up? The rear end of that one.
Sure.
The 69s, they put the tail lights, the backup lights inside the tail lights there.
Okay.
See that? The 68s, they did not have that. 68s were 4 red lights, and the backup lights were under the bumpers.
Got it.
Yeah, and you can change that pretty easily. So I would change that, and the only other customization I would like to make. Oh, that was cool. I don't know how you did that, but that was neat.
iPhones.
The front ends, you can buy fiberglass front end replacements that don't have the cutouts for the headlights, the pop-up headlights.
Okay, sure.
Corvettes have. And I wanted to get one of those, a customized one, so I didn't have the cutouts. And then you have to make some kind of customization to put lights in the grill. You can find some photos on the internet of Corvettes like that where they've taken the headlights out. That's it. Yep. See, there's no cutouts there. They actually sell the front ends like that. So you just pop on a new front end, get it painted. But yeah, that's definitely my bucket list car. For sure.
It's funny that you mentioned the Cuda because on my little list here that I made up, I have on here Hemi Cuda.
I saw that.
So that was definitely one of my cars.
Well, I've talked to you about it a couple of times.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think we know that, let's shoot back to Larry real quick. We'll spin back around to Larry Emery. Big Mustang guy. Mm-hmm. Big Mustang guy.
Yeah.
I like them. I don't mind them, but I've never been interested in owning them except for one. And that's that 70 Boss Mach 1 Mustang.
Absolutely. You talking about the white with the blue or black racing stripes?
Well, even the one that was the orange one I think was it the orange one that I built, that model?
Oh, you're looking at the orange one? So I think you're thinking of a different year than I am. You like the 70.
Yeah.
Which is more like the 69, the rounded front end. And I'm thinking more of the 70, it might be 2 or 3 with the straighter, the more boxy front end.
Sure.
Mach 1.
Right.
Same here. That was always, and I'm not a Mustang guy either, but if I were to get one.
Gone in 60 seconds with the Eleanor 68 GT500.
Come on.
Okay, that's a pipe dream.
That's a pipe dream.
Right?
But I would
Beautiful
take that car in a
car.
heartbeat.
Yeah, I would do that one. What about like a 68, 69 GOAT, GTO Judge?
Oh, yes.
That's not horribly bad.
No.
Okay, money-wise.
Yeah, we could do one of those.
We could do something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I also had on here a 55 Chevy two-door.
Yeah.
I didn't even know those things existed when the 57 was out. I mean, I knew that, of course, they made a 55, but I just didn't know what it looked like.
You didn't know that?
It's a different-looking car.
I have a model of 55.
And I love that thing. I just think it's a cool car. And Dad and I, quick story, I mentioned this, the GM Powertrain car show, right?
Yes.
Where I met the guy that bought
Yes.
my Charger. Okay.
Yes.
Dad and I were there with his Corvette, and there was a guy there that had a 55 that was probably on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 6.
Okay.
And he was selling it. It was a 55
Oh,
for
wow.
sale. And Dad and I had a very serious father and son talk about, should we do this? Do you want to go in this with me? Do you want to, So we talked about it. We decided not to. But that was a close one. That might even be listed as one that got away.
Yeah, I would say so.
Other than that, about the only other one that I really would like to get that I'll never own, that would be a bucket list car I'll never own, is probably like a 1985 Lamborghini Countach.
Oh, definitely a Countach would be a sweet car to have, wouldn't it?
What's so funny is that when you look these things up, if you see that 85 Countach, and for the viewers out there, it's the one that they did in Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Right. It's got the gull wing doors that go up, right? And all
Yes.
That. Actually, they slide up. But anyways, those are still 90, 100, 125,000.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
1985.
But you can get them now in the States, where back in the day it was.
Oh my gosh,
there weren't very many here.
Yeah, it's a crazy car, but
Yeah.
that would be one. And I think that was it on my list of bucket list cars. Do you have anything else on your list?
No, not really that I can think of. I guess I've always liked the 73 Camaros. I would definitely be in the market for a 73 Camaro.
Right.
Liked that year. Really, really did like those years.
It's really funny with me being
Definitely a C28 would be better.
Oh, there you go. There you go. With me being such a big, Mopar Charger guy, but owning 2 Chevelles, there's still one Chevelle out there that I've always liked and always wanted,
Yeah.
and just never did. These Chevelles are all getting to be more and more expensive, but I had a buddy at work that had one of these. And also, when we lived on Chrissy Road, down the street on Chrissy Road, if you remember, there was a guy that owned one that was right down the street. It was a bright red one. It was a 1972 Chevelle that had the
You're
round
talking about
taillights
Chrissy.
on Chrissy Road.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so this guy had it, and it was just flat out gorgeous, and it sounded like it was going to rip the ceiling off of the house when he started it. But I've got a couple of buddies that have owned these 72s, and the one that I do remember, it was a convertible even. It was ragtop. Real nice car. And I just really like the looks of those. It's got a different front end than the 70s. It's got a different tail light section than the 70s. I think the 68 and 70s probably my favorite 2 years. But the 72s, man, it's right in there too. It's really close. But they're all, all Chevelles now are getting higher and higher in price.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it seems like the Trans Ams,
They're
keep
not
going back
really.
to that, they're higher, because everything's higher.
Yeah.
But they're not like the other ones are.
No.
You can get like a mint conditioned Trailer Queen Bandit Trans Am for like 40 grand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just in amazement that you can get one like that for that
Right.
kind of money.
Right.
So that means if I get one that's a good driver, what are we going to put in it, Jim? 20? 23? 20, right?
Right.
So somewhere in that range
Right.
would be great. I'm good with that. I'm
Yeah.
good with that. Let's go get it. You know? I'm good with that.
Let's
So
go get it.
did we miss anything? Any final
Probably,
words?
but I can't think of it right now.
Well, we've got
We got many episodes to cover that.
Yeah, we
I'm
do,
sure
so-
Larry will bring up some things.
oh yeah.
And maybe Nathan will too. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, Nathan's going to be coming to town in a week or so, and we're going to see if we can plop him down in front of us and hopefully get the schedules together and get everybody here so we can try to do something. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. But, well, if there's nothing else, man, I'm going to sign us off. And we're
You
going
don't
to
have more you wanted to cover?
I don't think so. I think other than maybe just talking about some of the cars from TV and movies that we loved growing up.
Talk about that for a minute.
You want to talk about? Okay, cool. You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember back in the early 1900s. The Foo Fighters. We growing up and watching TV, everything on TV was always about a lot of the cars. So you had Smokey and the Bandit with the Trans Am, you had the Dukes with the car. You've got Knight Rider, Hardcastle McCormick had a really cool Coyote. That was a neat car. It's almost like a kit car. So all these different shows. Fall Guy with that beautiful GMC
Yes.
truck that he had. That
Yes.
was amazing. It was like bouncing on balloons with those
Yes.
big tires. With Lee Majors. So all these different shows that we watched. growing
Starsky and
up.
Hutch Gran Torino.
Oh, just wonderful car.
Which, by the way, watching that movie
Uh-huh.
that they made, Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, was just seeing that car
Yeah.
clean, and I mean, new television, where it shows the car for what it really was,
Right.
rather than the '70s television where it's just not the same picture.
Sure.
Oh, beautiful car, beautiful car. And to see the outtakes of them smashing up those cars.
Oh,
Oh, but yeah, just a neat looking car.
well, a lot of those remakes that they did. I mean, you can't replace the car. You can have different actors and different people
No,
play different
no.
parts. But if you do like anything with the Dukes, you got to have the right car. I mean, the downfall of the remake of Knight Rider was they used a Mustang.
Yeah,
Had they went back to that Trans Am,
yeah,
maybe, because that was part of the luster or the attraction of the show.
right.
So, but anyways, that's with that. But
Yeah, who came up with that idea?
I don't know, man. But all those cars. The A-Team van was cool.
Yes, it was.
I
Yes,
mean,
it was.
the coolest van you ever saw on television. But a lot of those shows growing up, they just, if I look at any of those cars and go, geez, which one of those, would I want? I mean, I just keep going back to I've had the Charger. I like the Bandit Trans Am.
Yeah.
If we go to the big screen and get off TV, you've got the DeLorean from Back to the Future. What else have you got? You've got the Blues Brothers car.
Yes.
That's a cool car.
Lots of cars from the big screen.
Oh my God! Yeah, there's just so many different
How about the
aspects
Bullet?
about that. The Bullet, yeah, the Charger on that one was a '68, and then also the
And the-
Bullet Mustang was
the Mustang that
beautiful
Steve
car.
McQueen drove.
Yeah, there's a behind the scenes on that one is that they had a lot of times they had to let off the gas in that Charger. They said it was too quick.
Yes, I did hear that.
And versus that, but
Yeah.
the Mustangs, they weren't doing some of those real big heavy motors in them. And those Chargers were like a slingshot back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day they were. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Actually, I remember a movie that. Let me just bring this up for anybody who's listening, because you may get a random stranger listen to our podcast. But a movie that you probably can't even find anywhere, probably not even streaming anywhere, that had a pretty cool car, and it was a Henry Winkler movie called Heroes. And ironically enough, Sally Field was in it too. Yes.
Oh, get out.
Now, I'm not kidding you. Sally Field, Henry Winkler. And Henry Winkler was traveling across country with earthworms. He was going to run an earthworm farm.
Where do you find stuff?
Grant, this was a movie from the 70s. We saw this on the big screen.
Oh, my God.
Guarantee you.
I slept through that one.
Okay, now wait a minute. This movie, I mean, it was kind of crazy, but there was a cool car in it. He goes to his buddy. Sally Field helps him out. They go to his buddy, who was supposed to like give him money or something to go find another. There was another friend of theirs. He was going to raise these earthworms.
Okay.
I don't know what the deal was. I forget what the exact concept of these earthworms was. But his buddy is played by Harrison Ford.
No kidding.
And he's driving I want to say it's a Firebird, like a early 70s Firebird.
No kidding.
Orange with an 8-ball on the side. Yeah, he was raced cars on dirt tracks. So he lends the car to Henry Winkler.
Okay.
And of course they get in some trouble in a bar somewhere. Some people start picking on him, and Sally Field drives the car through the bar to save Henry Winkler from getting his butt whipped. And they get in the car and drive. Of course, the car's destroyed.
Oh yeah.
And they're driving down the road, and I think they just left it somewhere. But it was beautiful, nice car. But there's movies out there that cars were in, that people don't know. I mean, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry that I was talking about earlier, they had the 69 yellow Charger that they run away in. That, I won't even talk about what happens to that at the end. Got to watch it to see. But
spoiler. It's
a lot of movies that had cars in them. The one I don't really need to talk about, I don't know if you remember the movie The Wraith. Mm-mm. A lot of people crave over this car. You don't remember The Wraith with Martin Sheen? Not Martin Sheen. Charlie Sheen?
Charlie Sheen. No, not that I can think of right.
The Wraith was about a car that was drag racing all these other cars and beating them, and it was this. It wasn't a stock car. This was like a modified car that they made. Mm-hmm. I can't believe you don't remember this one. But nobody ever saw the driver, and it was just beating everybody in all these races. And
oh my gosh!
And it was supposed to be a car. I don't know, had a computer in it, and you never saw the guy driving. The guy driving was supposed to be like Charlie Sheen. You find out at the end, but it was a weird movie. It wasn't all that great.
Oh my god!
But a lot of people, it's a cult. It's a cult classic.
Yeah.
People that watched it think that was a cool car. I didn't think it was anything great, but
another popular movie that had an old car in it that I wasn't aware was that the Ghostbusters Ecto 1.
My gosh!
Is a '59 Cadillac ambulance.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a 59.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a caddy. So I just think that's hilarious. So imagine when they start doing these movies again and they have to, okay, we got to build another Ecto.
There's another one coming out, right?
I do. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm so excited.
I'm very excited about that.
I still remember coming over here and watching the last one with you. After I bought it on Vudu.
Yep.
Oh,
that was
great. That was a great time. Great time.
Yeah, that was a good time. But the Ecto 1, man, it blew my mind when I started looking up some old cars for the podcast, and just to think about it. And I looked it up, and I said, "Oh yeah, what's the Ecto 1?" I was like, put it in there, and it said '59 Cadillac ambulance. I went, what? So it just blew my mind.
We'll have to come up with a list of movies for people someday for car movies to watch. One I know, a newer one that a lot of people don't know about, was Hit and Run with oh no, I'm blanking on the name. The blonde guy, Dax Shepard.
Oh, okay.
It was his movie. He did it with Bradley Cooper. They did it together, I think. I remember him on a radio show or something talking about it. And he drove a Lincoln, a restored Lincoln. And it was pretty. It was a nice, fast car.
Did you watch?
That was a pretty cool movie.
not too long ago, there was a movie with Quentin Tarantino that he did. Like, I think it's called Death Trap. And that was with...
You talking about the Christopher Reeve movie and Michael Caine?
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought that was
I think
Death
it
Trap.
was either or Death Race or something like that. But it
Death
was
Race.
with Kurt Russell was in
Okay.
it.
Don't know.
And I'm pretty sure he drove a 69 Charger that was
Really?
all like done up in primer gray, right?
Okay.
And then he was chasing some girls around that happened to be in a white Challenger, like from The Vanishing,
Oh, okay.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
And he did all these like car chase scenes. So if you ever get a chance to watch that, you should pull it up and see it. But it's actually not bad. It's pretty
I'll
good.
have to see if I can.
But it's Quentin Tarantino movie, so he puts his spin on it.
Yeah.
But it was just really cool. It was almost kind of like he's paying, doing a nod, if you will, to some of the old, like, the Bullet movies and stuff like that of the past. So it was pretty cool.
Haven't seen the John Schneider movie.
Which one?
The one they made, the tribute to the Smoking the Bandit movie.
Yeah, he's done a couple.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. There's another one that he's advertising right now, and it's about a American veteran guy that's fighting the system today about how they look at anything patriotic as borderline racist.
Uh-huh.
And they say if you're too patriotic or you're too this, then you should you can't fly your flag and all this other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So he did a movie on that, and I've not seen it, but it's probably pretty controversial right now. But the Smokey the Bandit tribute one that he did, I have not seen that either. So maybe we should watch that together.
We probably should.
Should we review it?
We should review it.
We could do a review on that.
We could.
We
We could.
and do that. I guess that's another thing too. I wanted to add, and that's a good segue. There is that if there's anybody out there that's watching these podcasts, feel free to leave a comment in there and tell us if there's a topic or something that maybe you're in our family and there's a topic that you want us to talk about that you've heard about, or you've heard us talk about before and you want us to cover it again, or if there's certain things that you want us to review about, maybe our high school days or stuff that we did when we were a little bit younger. Any kind, throw those in the comments section. Obviously, Jim and I will review them, and we'll see if there's a topic there to go over, or if there's movies you want us to
Yeah,
review.
Dad, if you want to know if we ever drove any of your cars, throw in a question. Just kidding. What cars? Remember taking the Charger out to
Dad-
73?
Dad didn't have.
What were we, 10?
Dad didn't have any cars. Dad walked to work uphill both ways in the snow.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Jeep.
We could have surfed in that van that Dad had.
Yeah.
Or did we?
No.
No, we didn't.
I think I've surfed once, and it was on your van, and that was good. And we were done.
We never drove the Dad's van.
No.
But he did have a Ford van like that. I do remember.
Yeah, Dad had some cool cars. So that's another thing I want to. That's one of the topics I want to hit up Dad about
When Dad's up, yeah,
when he's here.
absolutely.
because he had
Absolutely.
like an old Duster, an old Charger, and some other stuff I remember, and growing
Couple
up.
Corvettes.
So yeah, I'd like to talk to about some of that stuff. So we'll hit him up on that. But yeah, if there's anything that anybody wants to have us talk about, throw that in the comments section, and we can bring it up. But I think we should do a movie review or hit a couple of different movies from back in the day.
I think you just killed the battery.
And I think the battery died on camera 4 because it's just you and me now, buddy.
That's okay.
I think it's over.
I don't think we need it. We're about done here.
I
We're wrapping
think
up
so,
anyways.
too. I think so too.
Anything else about cars you wanted to add?
No, man, I'm pretty clear. I think we hit everything on the list that we were talking about.
Except one thing.
Oh, what was that?
It's the very top of the list.
Yeah.
And we probably should cover it.
Let's go ahead and do that. You want to start out?
Just wanted to pay our homage. The news about the passing of, I will say it, a legend in the acting industry. Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, major comedian from Friends.
Yeah.
Played Chandler Bing or Mrs. Chandler Bong.
This is Chandler Bond.
for you guys.
Love that guy.
I think for Jimmy and I, and I'll say this real quick, is that first of all, all the prayers and thoughts go to his family and his friends and the people that were seriously close to him. But Matthew Perry is our age.
Yes.
Was our age. So back when Friends was on, and as they were going through different situations in that show, for the most part,
situations that we went through.
at the same time we were
Same
going
time,
through it.
absolutely.
You know,
You could relate to Friends in that way
Yeah.
because we were the same age,
Yeah.
pretty much as he was, and the people they were playing. I mean, they were playing pretty close to their age. So
Yeah. Well, and there's so much from a comedic standpoint. There's so much stuff that they did in Friends that, without even realizing it, that's where we picked it up from,
yes,
and we probably still do it to this day to a
Yes.
certain degree.
oh yeah,
And the "How You Doing" I've been doing since I saw Joey do it
Right.
on Friends years ago.
Right.
And I still, hey, how you doing? I
Right.
still do that. But I think that was the thing with me, at least, that I always felt very close to all of them, just because exactly that. That they're going through the same stuff that we're going through at the same time that we were going through it. So a lot of the stuff that they dealt with on TV
Yes.
is the same thing we were doing at the same time.
absolutely.
So I just felt like that. I mean, you got those 6 people, and they were 6 of my closest friends as well.
Yeah,
It's sad.
I don't know if it's because it's age, like you said, being in close proximity, but actors and actresses die all the time.
Yeah.
They get older, they die. I mean, it's just what's part of life. But it hit me a little harder than like the smoke when Burt Reynolds died, and of course our favorite movie, Smokey and the Bandit, and that hit us hard.
Yeah.
And I remember going over and having some drinks with you and toasting, doing the picture that you framed for me and everything. I love that photo, by the way.
Awesome.
That was hard, but you need to put that up there for people to see.
For sure.
That you put in the frame with all the bottle caps from the Coronas that we not
Yeah.
just drank that night, but for
Yeah.
a period of time.
We wore our Bandit stuff and was all in
Yeah,
honor
had our
of
Bandit shirts
Burt.
on, and that was awesome. But I think the Matthew Perry one hit me a little harder.
Yeah, that was like a brother.
Yeah.
Or with Burt, it was kind of like the fun uncle.
Right.
Or a dad in a sense,
right.
He was just the cool, uncle.
Yeah.
But Matthew was like, I mean, he'd been like a brother.
He's a friend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's-
Yeah. So again, our thoughts and prayers go to him
Absolutely.
and his family, and all the rest of them: David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow. So, and I just lost myself. I think we're gonna cut over to you.
I'm like, we're losing every camera now.
Just they're all going. They're done.
We've been on way too long tonight.
Yeah, but I think
That's
so.
okay. You're gonna have to divide this one up in a couple minutes.
We'll do
I
that.
think.
We'll do
but
that.
I don't know. I think our avid fans will listen. We seem to have a few that are pretty
Two
excited.
people.
Our two
Two
fans.
people. Well, again, I want to thank my co-host here, Jim, and thank you for putting up with me and doing this stuff and scheduling this with me. Had another fantastic time with you tonight.
Yeah,
so
I was
thank
calling
you
you saying when you want me over. Come on, man, let's go. What are you talking about?
So,
Yeah, you can't do them without me. You're not allowed.
okay. all right.
I'm just telling you that right now.
Well, if we do
It's
have,
not allowed.
if we have some visitors coming in from out of town, I'm going to tell you when we're going to do it.
Well, then
I'm-
you need to just say,
I'm
"Get your
hoping-
ass over here." I'll be over here. Okay,
Okay,
that's
hey,
what we got to do.
Fair enough.
I mean,
That's easy enough. To
you
do.
told me in advance for next weekend, so we'll work something out. We can work something out within those couple of days. Not absolutely, but
We'll have plenty of time.
yeah.
We'll have plenty of time. Well, thanks, brother. Pardon me, brother. I appreciate you, love you,
Pardon me, brother.
and we will put some of this stuff together, and we will see you guys all another time.
Goodbye.
I'm always angry.
Hulk! Smash!